Hey spooky bitches, my name is Michaela and welcome to or back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be about the just very dark history behind the Cecil Hotel. The Cecil Hotel may sound familiar to some of you because it is the hotel back in 2013 where Elisa Lam went missing and was later found in the hotel's water supply, but I will get more into that in a little bit. The Cecil Hotel opened in 1927 and had 600 guest rooms, and back in 2011 they actually changed their name to the Stay on Main because they're trying to like rebrand themselves, but don't think it's working. And I was actually looking into the hotel to see if I could like get a room, like how much they were, to spend the night and do an investigation there, but they have actually been closed since 2017 for renovations and will not be opening again until 2021. Like, what the fuck could you possibly be doing that you have to be closed for 4 years for renovations? Like, you might as well have torn the building down and rebuilt it, like shit. So when I saw that information, I also saw something that said that during like the remodel and like whole rebranding thing they're doing, they are turning it into a mixture of a hotel and residential units. And bitch, I would not want to fucking live in this building, that's for damn sure. Like I said, this hotel has a very dark history and it pretty much started since the moment this hotel opened. So I'm gonna go over a list of all the stuff. I'm gonna use my laptop to read it off to you and buckle in because it's a lot. On November 19th, 1931, Manhattan Beach resident W.K. Norton, age 46, was found dead in his room after ingesting poison capsules. A week prior, Norton had checked into the Cecil under the name James Willis from Chicago. Norton's death is the earliest known suicide at this hotel. In September 1932, a maid found Benjamin Dodich, age 25, dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. July 1934, former Army Medical Corps Sergeant Louis D. Borden, age 53, was found dead in his room. He had slashed his throat with a razor. Borden left several notes, one of which cited poor health as a reason for his suicide. March 1937, Grace E. Margot fell from a 9th-story window. Her fall was broken by the telephone wires which were wrapped around her body. Police were unable to determine if Margot's death was a result of an accident or a suicide. January 1938, United States Marine Corps fireman Roy Thompson, age 35, jumped from the Cecil's top floor and was found on the skylight of a neighboring building. He had been staying at the hotel for several weeks. In May 1939, Navy officer Irwin C. Neblett, age 39, was found dead in his room after ingesting poison. Again. September 1944, Dorothy Jean Purcell, age 19, was sharing a room at the Cecil with her boyfriend, Ben Levine, age 38. Big yikes. Dorothy had apparently been unaware that she was pregnant and went into labor, which that still blows my mind how that shit happens. I know there's that whole show, like, I didn't know I was pregnant, but just like, how, bitch? So she didn't want to disturb her boyfriend who was sleeping, so she went into the bathroom and gave birth to a baby boy. Then she thought he was dead and proceeded to throw it out the window. She was charged with murder, and in January 1945, she was found not guilty by reason of insanity. Yeah, right, bullshit. In November 1947, Robert Smith, age 35, died after jumping from one of the Cecil's 7th floor windows. On October 22nd, 1954, Helen Greene, age 55, jumped from one of the windows on the 7th floor. 1 week prior, she had registered at the hotel under the name Margaret Brown. February 11th, 1962, Julia Frances Moore, age 50, jumped from the window on her 8th floor room. On October 12th, 1962, Pauline Ottoman, age 27, jumped from the window of her 9th floor room after an argument with her estranged husband. Ottoman landed on a pedestrian, George Giannini, age 65, killing them both instantly. On June 4th, 1964, a hotel worker discovered Pigeon Goldie Osgood dead in her room. This one's kind of dark. She had been raped, stabbed, and beaten, and her room was ransacked. Osgood's murder remains unsolved. December 20th, 1975, an unidentified woman, approximately 23 years old, jumped from her 12th floor window. She had registered at the hotel on December 16th under the name Allison Lowe. So there's a theme going on here. People register at this hotel under a different name and they end up killing themselves for whatever reason. I don't know why. I just think that's a weird coincidence that, this is the 3rd person so far that's done that? So then there was a huge gap of no deaths at this hotel until February 19th, 2013, when The naked body of Elisa Lam was discovered in the hotel's water supply system. If you somehow haven't heard about this case, which I feel like everyone has at this point, I'm gonna talk about it a little bit. Elisa Lam was a 21-year-old Canadian student who had actually gone missing 3 weeks prior to her body being found on January 31st. Her decomposing body was found by one of the maintenance workers in the water supply system after guests had been complaining about low water pressure and the water tasting funny. That literally just gave me goosebumps all over my body. That is so gross. Oh, I can't even, like, imagine you're staying at this hotel. Some people were saying the water was coming out like a weird, like, rusty color. So authorities later ruled her death an accidental drowning, but some things just don't really add up with that. So video footage was later released of a security camera from one of the elevators that showed Lam coming into the elevator, kind of acting a little frantic, pushing a lot of the buttons, and she kept like dipping her head out and then like hiding in the corner of the elevator. So everyone's like, okay, what or who is she hiding from? And this is also the last time she was ever seen. This is the last footage of her. So everyone's like, okay, was she hiding from someone? Was someone coming after her? She had a history of some mental health. So they're like, was she having some kind of like breakdown? And then there's some people that believe it has something to do with paranormal, because this hotel is said to be so haunted and has had such a dark history. There is one thing about this video that I was listening to a podcast recently and they were talking about it, and I never realized it until they pointed it out, but this whole time the elevator doors never close. In any elevator I've been in, the elevator doors will close like maybe 5 seconds after you're in it. And yeah, she keeps like poking in and out, but she's in the elevator for enough time for those doors to close. But they don't close until she leaves the elevator and I guess walks down the hall. We can't really see, but like after that they close, they go to another floor, open up, close like normal. But the whole time she is with the elevator, the doors never close, which I find very strange. But do I think this whole thing is a paranormal occurrence? I don't know. It seems like a big stretch to say that something paranormal would have her end up where she ended up, but I mean, I don't know. No one's ever gonna know, which sucks, but I don't know. I feel like the paranormal thing is a little stretch, but she definitely was hiding from something in that elevator. That's for sure. Some people even think that she might have been playing the elevator game, which is kind of like a paranormal urban legend game. I don't know too much about that on the top of my head. I know I've heard some things about it, but I don't want to give out false information. Should have probably done my research, but wasn't that prepared. So the biggest question people have about this whole situation is, how did she end up in that water tank? Access to the roof is not open to the public. Only like the staff have keys to it, and if someone did open that door, it should have sounded an alarm. And the tank itself is also very hard to access once you even are on the roof. And assuming that she was alone, which that's what they said it was an accidental drowning, it's impossible for you to close the lid to the tank once you're inside the tank, because the water doesn't reach high enough for you to be able to reach the top. So if she did somehow fall in it, how would the lid have been closed? Because the lid was closed when they found her. So someone or something had to have come and closed that lid, you know? So there's just a lot of questions in this case that we're probably never gonna have answers to. It's still something that paranormal, I guess, enthusiasts think about to this day, and especially in connection with the Cecil Hotel. And this event actually inspired American Horror Story. The hotel season obviously is based off of the Cecil Hotel, and like, I mean, it's not based off of this event, but this event is what inspired Ryan Murphy to write that season. After that, there's only one more incident that was reported at this hotel, and that was on June 13th, 2015, when the body of a man was found on the sidewalk outside of the hotel. Some people believe that he jumped from one of the floors of the hotel, but the county coroner said that the cause for his death was never really determined. So with all of that, there have been at least 16 deaths at the Cecil Hotel resulting from non-natural causes. A majority of these deaths are suicides. Pretty much all of them are. So I cannot even imagine just the dark energy that this building probably has inside of it. The fact that they're trying to make these into residential units, like, I hope people do their research before they move in here and realize what this hotel is, because I would never move into that building. So not only did these just horrible and sad things happen inside the walls of this building, this hotel was also home to some serial killers. In the 1980s, Richard Ramirez, also known as the Night Stalker, would break into homes of women and rape and murder them. During this time, he often stayed in the Cecil Hotel, and sometimes he would even dump his like bloody clothes into the dumpster of the hotel. In 1991, an Australian serial killer and journalist also stayed at the Cecil Hotel. His name was John. I'm just gonna go with John. Whatever, he's dead anyway, fuck him because he's a serial killer. John Jack Unterweger. He was staying there while he was assigned to write an article about prostitution in America. He was actually first convicted of murder in Australia in 1974, but he was released 15 years later for reforming or convincing them that he had changed, but unfortunately he fell back into his old habits once he was in America and killed 3 sex workers in Los Angeles. So with all of that information I just threw at you, it's no surprise that this place is fucking haunted. So many guests that stay at this hotel report seeing dark figures in their rooms, and also a handful of them report like the bed sheets being tugged off their bed. The most famous recording of a paranormal sighting at this hotel was taken by Constan Alderete. I don't know if I'm saying that name right. I'm sorry. Constan took a photo of what looks like a specter hanging outside the 4th floor window of the hotel. The photo went viral, and many link this paranormal photo to all of the suicides that happened at this hotel. True crime author Nikki DuBose actually visited the hotel, but she found the place so terrifying that she refused to spend the night there. She said, "When I was exploring the top floor, I went to the very end of the hallway and took a photo of one of the windows. As I did that, one of the lights went out and I caught a photo of a dark figure in one of the windows that was not there when I took the photo. On top of that, I have always had paranormal experiences, and there I could just feel spirits, and that feeling was not a positive one. I don't think I could stay there overnight, and that says a lot considering one of my favorite things to do is stay in haunted hotels." It's strange because this is known as one of the most haunted hotels in Los Angeles, but that's really all I can find on the internet as far as like reportings go. I couldn't really find anything more specific than just like people see dark figures and like stuff like that. All I know is that that building has just some dark, bad energy in it, and I don't think any amount of rebranding they can do is going to change that. If anything, I feel like it's just gonna make shit angry and make it worse for people that stay and I guess live there. Good luck to those people, wishing you the best. Maybe once the hotel opens, I'll look into it, see how much they're charging. It's in downtown, so it's probably gonna be on the higher end, especially if they just remodeled it. But like I said, that's not going to be for like another year anyway, so we'll see how it goes. But that's all for this video. So if you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and if you really like it, then subscribe below if you have not already. If you would like to keep up with me between uploads, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Michi, and make sure to stay spooky, friends. Bye bye.